Well, hello and welcome back to bonnie Scotland. After last week's lovely trip to the river on a beautiful sunny day photographing abstract images of the water, I thought I'd return to the river again this week. The conditions are very different. Last week it was lovely and sunny. This week it's much cooler, it's overcast, and we're due to have pretty heavy rain today. So very different conditions to what I was photographing last week. I've decided for this week to come down to a slightly different part of the river. It's about a mile or two down from where I was last week. Somewhere that I have visited a number of times over the years and also shown on this YouTube channel. But I'm just going to see what's here today. As well as the river itself, we've got these lovely trees, and it's spring after all, so I'm sure we can find something of interest to photograph. Gosh, we haven't had rain for about 2 weeks now, and you can really tell. Look how low the river is. Although they can be quite treacherous to walk on, particularly when it's wet, I always love coming across these beautiful root systems on paths in the woods. If you look closely, just look at the texture of that. It's incredible. I'm really mesmerised by this tree. I mean, just look at the varying colours, the texture of it. It's so beautiful. A couple of years ago, I filmed a video where I spent 2 hours with one tree, and I photographed it in so many different ways, from afar, up close, doing macro, zooming into the branches and the leaves above me. And it's an exercise that I've done a couple of times since, and I usually pick trees that are quite old, trees that are quite prominent, have a lot of an interesting character to them. But today, coming across this tree here, which isn't relatively old, if we look up here, we can probably see it's quite a new tree in comparison to the bigger old trees around here. And by taking some time to photograph this tree, I'm starting to realise that even these smaller, less prominent trees that many people would probably walk by have so much interest in them as well. And especially this one here, just looking at the bark, it is absolutely fascinating. I could easily spend 2 hours here photographing the textures and the patterns on this bark and the little bits that are peeling away and create a whole portfolio of images of this. I mean, I could see this actually as a whole portfolio gallery exhibition because it's really, really interesting. You could just get lost in this world and Yeah, I think that's something to consider next time you're out with your camera, is to try and come across a subject that is of so much interest to you that you could spend 2 hours with it and really allow yourself to get engrossed in the world of what that subject has to show you. I am finding all of these creatures and characters within this tree. You know, when I first found it, I was very drawn to the texture and to the colour, and that was what I initially photographed. And then the more time I'm spending with it, I'm finding all of these little wispy bits of bark that are peeling off, and within them there's all these creatures, these characters, these faces. It's incredible, and the macro lens is allowing me to delve into this completely different world that just isn't visible really to the naked eye unless you get really close and really, you know, study it so closely and in depth, which most of us would never do. The macro lens allows me to be scanning up and down this tree to pick out these peeling bits of bark and to realise how much opportunity is within them. It is fascinating. I'm currently developing a nature photography programme fostered around community, connection and self-discovery. I would love you to join me when the time comes. Ensure you're signed up to my email newsletter so you don't miss your invitation. Look at these leaves. Ooh. So beautiful. A slight breeze has just got up, so the branches are bobbing. And these ones down here are quivering. How interesting. One of the things that I love about this style of photography that I'm doing today, this heading out and just responding to whatever I find, it's a never-ending world of discovery. I never know what I'm going to find to photograph. I never know what opportunities are going to be there. But there's always something. There is always something. My gosh. Look at the size of this cone. That's quite something. Wow. Anyway, as I was saying, one of the things that I love about this style of photography is that I never know what I'm going to discover. And I personally find that really exciting because it's like this journey of never-ending discovery. And I always find something to photograph. And I wanted to end this video today by speaking a little bit about this, because I remember when I got into photography, I was under this almost preconceived idea that I had to plan my photo outings. I had to know where I was going, what the weather was going to be like, where the sun would be, what I was actually going to photograph when I got there. And sometimes when you have something specific that you want to photograph as part of a project or something that you've always wanted to photograph, you can be very clear about where you're going, why you're going, what conditions you want for that image. And sometimes I enjoy doing that. But if I'm being truly honest and truly authentic, my favourite outings with the camera are outings like today, where I just choose a location on the morning. I just say, let's go to the river, let's go to the beach, let's go to the woodlands. Usually I don't know where I'm going until the day. I just wake up and think, let's go here. And I also don't know what I'm going to photograph. Like today, I thought I'll probably photograph the river because I photographed that last week and I really enjoy photographing water. But then I get here and I get so engrossed in the roots and that tree and the colours and the textures and the patterns on it, and then this beautiful pieces of bark that are starting to peel off, as well as the leaves. And it's like I would never have been able to have planned that. It just kind of happens. And I find that so exciting. And I'm sharing this because recently I've really started to reflect on what does authenticity mean in photography? Because of course there are certain subjects, certain techniques, certain places that make for really nice images. They're tried, they're tested. It's going to work if you put that formula together. But we're all wired differently. We all have different mental structures. We all see the world differently. Some are very imaginative and creative. Other people are quite practical and technical. And because of that, we're all going to approach photography differently. How we go out, how we see the world, what we're going to photograph is going to vary from one person to the next. And I think one of the most exciting things I've found on my photography journey has been going on that journey of discovering what do I actually enjoy photographing, but also how do I enjoy photographing it? And being open to breaking some of the rules and just experimenting. And often when I've done that, some of my most heartfelt, interesting, unusual images that speak to me the most have been birthed. So I wanted to end this video today by just saying to you, go out there and experiment. Go to the places that you feel drawn to go. And if you're drawn to a subject which most people would just walk by, don't question it. Actually stop, look at it, and photograph it in the way that you're feeling called to photograph it. Because that's where you're going to find your true aligned nature as a photographer. And that's one thing that I always advocate with people, I've never been one to tell people this is how you should do photography and these are the rules you should follow and this is the step-by-step guide to creating this style of image. I'm much more about who are you? How do you see the world? What interests you? And that's always when I'm working with people, whether it's one-to-one through mentoring or whether it's on a workshop situation. It's always about getting to know the individual, how they see the world and what interests them, and then supporting and empowering them to really embody their natural self, while of course throwing in some hints and tips along the way and giving them guidance. But it's really about empowering individuals to be themselves. So I know on my journey I've kind of really struggled with that. And it's only been in the last few years that I've started to go, no, this is how I see the world. And yeah, it's a little bit different to maybe how society says we should see the world. But it's where I feel most myself, most grounded, most genuine, most at peace. And because of that, I'm going to allow myself to create in that way and to then be able to support others in seeing the world in the way that they see the world is such a privilege. So I just wanted to share that with you today to end this video. Give yourself permission to be yourself and see the world in the way that you want to see the world and how you see the world naturally. Experiment, explore, and find what works for you. And you'll be surprised how your photography evolves as a result. The more true we are to ourselves, the more true our images are going to be. And ultimately, the more enjoyment we're going to get out of it.